credibility further.
Now, 13 members shy.
This week on Behind the Headlines, we focus on County 047, Nairobi County, looking at the failed promises and the aspirations for the people of Nairobi. This being one of the most important counties in the country, contributing to over 60% of the country's GDP. But the marriage was not going to last after all. 2 weeks after Sonko survived an election petition, Igathe walked away. He cited the failure to win the trust of Sonko as reason for his exit, making his one of the shortest high-profile political marriages in the country.
I don't want to comment on that for now. It is an issue to me. Political. I did not fire him. He decided to fire himself. That does not hinder us from delivering services to the people we serve.
The departure of Igathe 6 months into the job has been shrouded in mystery and left the people of Nairobi stumbling in darkness. In public, the pair seemed like political lovebirds, but in private, much was cooking. Igathe would later lift the lid on the uneasiness. In a letter to newsrooms, Igathe said he quit after he failed to earn trust from his boss. And what the public has been left with now is just speculations.
Kulingana na vile mimi naelewa, Sonko can do without a debit. Yes. Hii ni created seat ya kuchukua tu pesa ya serikali pure.
Inaweza kuwa ni kwa sababu ya kutokuelewana kulingana na mkataba pengine waliokubaliana walipokuwa wakifanya kampeni.
Hiyo sababu labda unajua masomo inategemea. Kuna mtu amesoma, mwingine hajasoma, lakini ndio hiyo.
Tutaona, sababu hata mimi nataka nione uongozi yake, kwa sababu sasa hiyo shida moja nimeona kwanza inanirudisha chini kidogo kwa uongozi yake, kwa sababu mtu ongea mahali anafanyia kazi. Kwa hivyo ninataka tu nagojea nione uongozi wake, bado sijauelewa vizuri.
What is even more important, however, to the people of Nairobi is whether Sonko will still be able to fulfill his ambitious promises to Nairobians without Igathe, the man meant to bring his CEO experience into the leadership of the county.
Kwa uongozi wa Sonko, mimi sioni chenye kimebadilika. Cause naona takataka zimejaa Nairobi. Like 5 years ago, Nairobi haikuwa hivi. So naona takataka zimejaa, chokora wamejaa everywhere, hawkers wamejaa everywhere. Nairobi haikai country yetu, ni chafu.
Kitu inatusumbua hapa ni traffic na city council maaskari. Unakuta conductor anaitana, wanamshika. Kiingizo kwa hiyo gari unatoka na gari moja. Tena barabara zote magari yanavujika shauri ya barabara bovu.
Ukiangalia kama hii barabara ya River Road kutoka pande ya Tirum kufika pale Koja, mashimo ni mingi sana. Kwa hivyo hata gari yangu juzi ilikata engine mounting. Sasa nikitaka kusema governor hapo watuangalie sana. Gari zetu zinaharibikia River Road kutoka Tirum hadi Koja pale, kuna mashimo mingi sana. Na sijui imeashiriwa kwa nini.
I think during the election campaign there was a promise that they would work together. One would bring the political aspect, the other one would bring the administrative professional aspect. And I think it was very exciting for most Nairobians, and I think that's why they won the ticket. That said, 100 days in, I think there's a lot of disenfranchisement. I think a lot of the expectations have sort of like dimmed, and a lot of people are looking at a city that's getting dirtier, getting unsafe because of crime, and getting more cumbersome because of traffic.
Priority areas for Sonko's first 100 days have been put under scrutiny. Among other things, Sonko promised to abolish trade licenses for small businesses in the city.
Biashara iko chini kabisa, na tena tunataka angalau serikali tuangalie sana sisi watu ya biashara ya chini, sababu hapa karibu tunapigwa ni vumbi, tena hatupati pesa, sijui pesa ilienda wapi, na tena tunataka serikali itupe kitu kama mkopo hivi, ituinue. Biashara yetu iko chini kabisa na hatuna pesa. Wakifanya hivyo watu tutafurahia, sababu hatuna mabiashara iko chini kabisa.
Including bringing down parking fees and land rates. Its promise to reduce parking fees to 150 shillings is yet to be implemented.
We started our operation in November. The progress is very good. As you can see a lot of changes in town, positive changes. We started with the hawker. The hawker problem is a bit complicated because we have managed to move them out of CBD, although still the number is still bigger than I expected.
Every time service delivery hits a snag in the city, a faceless power figure is blamed, the cartel.
Well, cartel really are people who would want to use false means to acquire some financial support or financial gain. And they have done it in such a way that they don't only work by themselves, they work through other people. And they work with people who will be not known to us. And it's a system, it's a culture which is going on.
Congestion in the city is not a new subject, and this is part of what the current administration promised to deal with, but still yet to find a clear way around it. Public service vehicles and the hawker menace making this even more complicated. The traffic menace is part of why the city hasn't been able to unlock its full potential.
A case example of PSV. In 2004, that PSV in one day was going 350 kilometers. Today, in one day. Today, that PSV is going 150 kilometers in one day. That's almost a 200-kilometer drop. So in terms of percentage, I mean, that's a huge, huge drop down. So if you use that percentage across the economy, and we say Nairobi is 60% of Kenya's GDP, it tells you we are losing billions, billions. There's been no formal study that says, is it 2 billion or 3 billion? But if at the micro scale, you can see we are losing 50, 30, 40% of output just because of delays. Again, the statistics, they're saying only 5% of the employed labor force can get to work in 45 minutes in Kenya. Compare that to London, 54%. So all that is lost output. So it's very hard to capture all that, but already you can already tell we're in the billions in terms of lost output.
On that note, we take a short break. There is much more coming up on Behind the Headlines.